Shit.
Well, it is January 1921. It's about 6 months since we last hung out with the Vice Kings. And as you can see, the crew has grown. Mr. Jackson has left a trail of pretty brutal death across the city. And right now, we control 2 full territories. We are almost, well, we are in full control of East Pilsen, the Murder Mile. And we are in control of the Loop. We do share the Loop with the fortune tellers, but they are leaving us alone. They are not very, very powerful at all. And also, like I said, the crew has grown pretty significantly. We do currently run a crew of 4, led by Mr. Jackson, together with Grover. We still have the Beef Fairy out here, and ZZ, which is a new addition. Now, Gibby, who used to be, is a demolition guy, right? And he used to be with the crew that moved around. He was made lieutenant and controls East Pilsen, together with this other gentleman, Rocco, who has been placed in a casino in East Pilsen. Gibby helps a lot. Gibby will make sure that we make extra money from casinos and whatnot in the area. And Rocco handles one of the casinos. It's his job to essentially work out of that casino because he extra increases their income by another 20%. So between Gibby's excellent lieutenant skills and the skills of the people working out in the different locations, we are hoping that East Pilsen will become a powerhouse in our empire. We're also not spending a lot of time out here doing a lot of attacks on derelict buildings and whatnot. We are the only gang actually in the area, and there's no need to really fight anyone else. There's no need to really fight anyone else here, because as you know, when you are fighting others and you are creating death around, the danger level goes up, and danger level means that the prosperity of the area stays low. So the Sable is the big casino in this area. We are going to try to crank it up. It is kind of suspicious though, so I'm hoping that we're not going to get hit by some federal raids or whatnot, and we're gonna have to make a decision then if we're gonna close it or fight them. A conscious decision of not going out and visiting all the different areas and trying to stay away from many of the other gangs, just to not get involved in the politics and what of it, and just concentrate on the areas that we control and that we want to build up. As you might remember, we did run into the White City Circus right off the bat when we first started out, and that's really what built our empire, getting into a fight with them and taking over their properties. Other than that, we haven't really seen many people, and the Saltus gang here actually sought us out. We weren't in their territory, they came to our territory. They came to talk to us, and they're not very strong either. You know, I mean, there are some gangs we haven't even met that are stronger and are out there. And we're gonna go and we're gonna have a chat with Mr. Saltus here, though.
All right, Mr. Saltus, you've got a deal.
What a treat. I knew I had a good feeling about you. I just knew it. You and me, we are gonna paint the town red. I'll see you around, Daniel.
Well, and since brothels are our specialty, or one of them, getting a little bit extra earnings is not a bad deal. So, all in all, pretty good meeting. And then I guess by virtue of meeting him, we've also met the Hip Sing Tong. Let's check them out, because I don't think we get along with them. I don't think. It doesn't look, I mean, they're not very strong. They are far, far behind us. I don't even know if I care if we get along with him or not. He's just not going to be somebody that is not going to be a force to be reckoned with, regardless.
I'm not interested in any deals with you, Mr. Mark.
Unfortunate. Leave this place now, and pray I don't see you again.
Until the next funeral, Mr. Mark.
So that went well, I think. And then, of course, the moment we leave the meeting with him, he's like, I don't want you to work with the Donovans. You know what, buddy? I'm not going to come sit down. It's not going to happen. So we went to his sit down. Looks like okay. All right, south side. We're not in the south, so I'm not worried. It's cool, though, because it'll tell you. It'll be like, yeah, south side prosperity is changing. This is the kind of, like, alcohol that they want to drink. And like I said, the prosperity a lot of times changes based on what the violence level in the area is. So we're gonna head over. I had this planned for a while, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna head over to Chinatown. And Chinatown is an area that has a lot of people in it. There are a lot of gangs active over here, which means there's a lot of income, but the prosperity is high. So what we're gonna try to do, without getting into wars with them, that will happen later, we are just going to go in here and we are going to attack as many of these buildings as we possibly can and see if we can just make it a more dangerous neighborhood. The hope, of course, being if the neighborhood gets more dangerous, then the income will drop for our rivals because the prosperity will drop. And people are not going to want to go out to bars and stuff, and they're definitely not going to buy whiskey. They will buy swill, which, by the way, is something that we might be selling to our rivals. But we're still telling them it's whiskey. So, yeah, that's a whole nother thing going on here for our money-making schemes.
Got him.
Now, of course, the other benefit to us going around Chinatown wreaking havoc on all these thugs is that we are getting more funds from ransacking these guys' buildings and just the general stuff that we get from them. We are also working on the skills of our people. Because sooner or later, my understanding is that our boss guy should stop being out on the street and actually stay in in our first safe house, the first safe house that we had, because he will provide a bonus for that area and hopefully significant since he is the Kingpin, and he should really stay off the streets, right? Not out here shooting stuff all the time. So getting the skills up on the rest of the people is nice. It also helps their morale going out and doing things like this, and their loyalty. And there are actually instances where it's happened where other gangs have approached, like our Lieutenant Gibby, for example, and asked Gibby to join them. And with his loyalty, he said no, and he didn't go. So it's cool. Another thing that happens too, of course, when we're out here on the street doing the shooting, is that we get higher notoriety. And now, as you can see, in Chinatown, we are meeting a lot of the different gangs. So I guess we're going to be doing some traveling around and meeting them as well. And we did take that meeting with the alley cats. I don't even remember if we decided to deal with them or not, but they're over here on the near south side where, well, the situation is pretty deadly. There's a lot of them around here, and the prosperity, as you can see, is kind of low. And here's Chinatown. Now, prosperity is high in Chinatown still. There's a lot of people in Chinatown, so we're starting to meet more of them. But of course, our oh, here we go. East Pilsen. East Pilsen is going up from rundown to mediocre, which is good for us. They are going to need better booze over there, and we're going to make more money. So let's see. Yeah. So now they want top shelf, which we're going to have to make. And I don't think we produce a ton of top shelf. Nope. So we don't produce any top shelf. So we're gonna change the production here. But I think we're gonna need more. We're gonna need, this is a big area. We have a lot of stuff going on in East Pilsen. So we're gonna need to find some more areas and increase their production or the type of alcohol that they produce, so that we can meet that top shelf demand in East Pilsen. So that's good. We do have a month. We have a month when they will drink both, but then that'll change and they will only drink what they actually want. And as you can see, time marches on in the city. We ran into Frank Reagan and his Colts, and yeah, we don't care about them at all. Also, it turns out that Goldie is a pretty angry gang leader. She just goes to war with a lot of stuff. So right now, she's in war with the Jenna crime family. She's just kind of rampaging around out here, so let's keep an eye on her, because I think she might become dangerous. Yeah, the other ones, of course, want us to protect them, because that's how it works. You either with us or I guess with Goldie right now. But while these other gangs are ripping each other apart, we are doing the busy work of a Kingpin. Actually, Mr. Jackson is now sitting comfortably behind the desk in his safe house. And he's got a crew out here handling it. So we got called over. Some guy named Izzy is asking a lot of questions. And we made sure to tell him that there's definitely no alcohol being served here.
Yes.
Only soda pop, which is the only thing we're selling. Soda pop, right? That's our empire. A soda pop empire for Chicago. Absolutely. But yeah, Mr. Jackson is, oh, here we go. You know, so Izzy Einstein, Prohibition agent. Okay, good. So it's a good thing we didn't sell him any booze. It's a good thing. We didn't need that. I love it. Like the little missions and stuff are cool. I'm sure if we sold him booze, they would have come back and they would have closed down that place. Like, close it down, permanently gone from the game kind of thing. But yes, Mr. Jackson is now, he's the Kingpin, which means he's just sitting behind the desk at our main safe house. Oh, here we go. This ought to be, oh, wow. All right. So the fortune tellers, which I told you they were warmongering, they have declared war on the outfit, Al Capone's crew. We are protecting Capone, so we have to either break our word against, you know, what we gave our word to protect Capone, or we got to join this war. So I mean, we are the biggest crew out there. We're gonna join this war, absolutely. All right, so now we have actually gone to war with, well, these are essentially our arch rivals. Right now, they're the biggest faction out there, except for us. They do crowd around in a lot of same areas, as you can see where we are at. And I think the best thing to do right now, let's get Mr. Jackson back out on the street. We'll add him to the crew. And then Grover, if you remember, he was over pulling security at a brewery. It was a brewery we were a little bit worried about. A big production center for whiskey, and we don't want to lose that in a war, so we might pull him too. We might. Well, we'll get Mr. Jackson out here, and at least we'll start getting a crew together to go and take this fight to the fortune tellers and take it to their turf.
All right.
We reap what we sow.
And as you can see, Mr. Jackson is staying busy. He hasn't lost any of his edge from sitting behind that desk. So the situation is pretty dire in the city. It's not so bad for us, but because of the multitude of all rackets,
I got that.
essentially across the street. Yeah, you run off. essentially across the street from their rackets, we are getting a lot of fights. We're getting into a lot of skirmishes with them, and we have essentially headed out now, tried to clear out some of their guards to just calm it down. And the plan now is to move on Goldie's safe house. Instead of just endless massacres in the street, which you are seeing right now, we're gonna move on her safe house. We're gonna see if we can take her out and shut this war down before it becomes any worse. And what we'll do is we'll kick off the next episode with that assault on their safe house. Now, as always, to make sure that you don't get caught up in this, that we know that you are actually part of the gang, hit like, maybe even subscribe. That way we will know that you are supporting the Vice Kings and you are not a fortune teller. We appreciate you watching, boss. Stay safe out there. Oh, it's just a guy hanging out. This is more boring than I thought it would be.
Anchor. I can't. Oh my god! I was typing.